Hello and welcome again. I'm Catherine Young, and this is our channel, Our Courage to Heal podcast. Before we begin, let me just say this. I'm not a professional healer and I cannot diagnose. I'm just another person who has been wounded but guided to receive healing. And now I'm here to share my story with you so that hopefully you too can find your courage to heal and stay on the healing journey. Now, let's begin. Hello and welcome again to our Courage to Heal podcast. This episode that I'm about to share is quite close to my heart, partly because it happened only last year. It's the year I lost so much, my last pregnancy and my business. During this healing process, I did find me having a stronger, more trusting and loving relationship with myself. I think dedicating myself to the path of healing certainly is the best decision I've made last year. So, let's begin. Book 1, Why Heal? Chapter 2, Meeting and Freeing My Inner Child. As you have heard from the last episode, I experienced the lowest point and was in so much grief. I could not pick myself up and was bedbound for a while. I lost my will to live and was hanging on for my 2 children. In my desperate attempt to feel better, I went to a recommended psychotherapist for grief counseling. I wanted to take away this sadness and numbness. But it did not quite go as planned. She started by sharing that the process would be messy and hard, and explained that there must be a part of me that needed healing. That's why I experienced this setback to lead me to healing. Then she started unboxing so many compartments in my life. We had a long Q&A about everything. My childhood, my siblings, my pregnancies, labor, bullies, miscarriages. I sat there feeling quite confused. And before I could even make sense of how this is grief counseling, she has unpacked this huge baggage of complex childhood trauma. Those childhood memories which I had blocked out for decades came gushing through. The armor and walls which I built and thickened over the decades exploded and broke into pieces, leaving me defenseless, lost, and feeling hopeless. I could feel my system shutting down. I became an echidna with spikes in milliseconds readiness. I was in total combat mode. She continued to rattle off, but I was in my space, feeling numbed, paralyzed, glued to my seat, yet so ready to charge. She felt further and further away. My brain felt like it was going to swell, and then it went flat. I felt hollowed out. I was breathing shallowly but hard. I could feel her, the wounded little Catherine in me. I could feel her constant fear growing up, unsure when her siblings would attack again, when her mom would be sad, when her world would fall apart and she had to take shelter again. I felt betrayed and abandoned, just like her when she was abandoned suddenly at 7 years old. Her life had fallen apart, and the only person whom she could rely on had broken down in tears. Heavy and hard as the steel armor was, she knew at that point she had to put it on for the rest of her life just to survive. I ended the session never to return again. Maybe just this healer wasn't certified in grief counseling. I continued my search, and within a short span of 3 weeks, I left 3 healing guides, and the grief intensified. I was so confused. I could no longer decide whether I was grieving for the miscarriage or the little Catherine in me, the traumatized little girl. I began hiding at home. I no longer meet my friends, contact my parents or siblings, or leave home without my family. My consciousness now lived outside my body most of the time, observing everyone at home, my husband, my son, my daughter, and me. Who are they? Who am I? What am I doing? During this period of time, I was most attracted to my little girl. Her straightforwardness, courage, and authenticity was my breath of fresh air. She was just herself, living life boldly. Nothing was going to stop her. It's liberating to see her being herself. I laughed like no one's watching me whenever I was with her. I felt a new sense of happy, an unconditional happiness. She is my second born. Some said they represent our true inner child, and I could not agree more. She was living the childhood I never had. I felt most alive when I was with her. I felt free, safe, and strong. I felt free because I know she's who I wanted to be. I felt safe because no matter what we did, we would love each other to bits. I felt strong because I knew she would turn to me, knowing that I will protect her whenever she need me to. Slowly, I became more awakened. I knew there's a gentler way to proceed with my life. I gave up trying to figure out the answer right now. Instead, I stayed open with positive but relaxed expectation that clarity would emerge spontaneously as I gave my heart the time and space to heal. My mind became clearer and I started accepting my childhood trauma. I accepted that I was people-pleasing, not because I was a nice person. It was because I learned that I needed to please my family members for survival. I needed the approval and protection. I was only 7 when it all started and I couldn't fend for myself. But now, I'm Catherine Young, over 40, a full-grown adult, capable of protecting little Catherine and myself. So I cut all ties from the world I knew. I learned what I was used to. I wanted to find the real Catherine. I want to be reborn again. I followed my heart gently but firmly day after day. I started practicing boundaries with my husband, who is also my protector and rock in life. And then I ventured out more confidently. Slowly, I accepted that our own nature is powerful in its own unique way. There's no need to be something we are not. During this rebirth, a new understanding, clarity, and purpose is found. As I embraced my inner essence, I became at peace with who I was, including my vulnerability. I no longer felt the need to conform to social norms which did not resonate with me. I now know that vulnerability is our strength. It will lead us to find our true self. I have set my inner child free from fear, past trauma, and wounds. And the scars are beautiful reminders of how blessed I was to be led to healing, to be led to growth. I was so happy I was free. I had to live well. I was curious who Catherine Young was, what my everyday would look like, what I would do next, just following my heart as I continue healing and healing. No one could stop me being me anymore. Have you ever experienced a beautiful experience? Just like when you had a best meal or watch a film that awakened your mind? Don't you want to tell others about it? Don't you want to shout out to others that the world is beautiful and abundant? I experienced it, and I really wanted you to know. Deep within, I learned that every experience is a chance to lead us to healing. Do not be afraid. Do not be resentful. Life is not unfair. It's just that we probably need different experiences to lead us to our own healing, so that we can feel gratitude and love again. Have faith. Be so curious about meeting that awesome you. Trust your intuition to receive healing. Trust your intuition that the best has yet to come. Trust your intuition that you are meant for greater things, better life, and you're worthy and enough, even if it came from a moment of your daydream. Dear one, imagine, feel, or visualize the strings within your heart. As you strike a chord, what do you hear, sense, see, or feel? Can't you remember your true nature, the real you? Take care of your heart. Give it the time and space it needs to do what's best for you. I will be rooting for you. for the day you finally connect and embraced the real you.